Hello, folks. Dustin Zarni here, commissioner in the car. I'm the Onondaga County Democratic Elections Commissioner, and today is Tuesday. It is February 7th, and we are going to be talking about the party change deadline, which is next Tuesday, but I wanted to do it this week so you have a little chance to prepare. I also call it Fall in Love with Your Party Day because it also happens to be Valentine's Day. And that's right. Every year, the deadline is February 14th for you to change your party in New York State to be eligible in the June primary to vote in that June primary's party, but it's also to be eligible to walk petitions in a particular party to run for office or for others to run for office. And so party identification in New York is actually a very big thing. We have what's called closed party primaries here in New York, which means that if you want to vote in the June 28th primary, you have to or June 27th, primary, you have to actually be enrolled in the party that you'd like to vote in. And that party is, one of the four parties that are in New York State. That is, there are four recognized parties anyways. That's Democrat, Republican, Conservative, or Working Families. So if you want to vote in the June 27th primaries, which will probably be throughout the city of Syracuse, but there may be a few primaries here and there in other parts of the county. We won't know that till beginning of April. And you want to update your party, now is the time to do so. If you do it after February 14th, then it will be held until after the primary, and it won't be changed, and it won't be in time for this primary. It'll be changed after the primary, and then next year you can vote in the primary. This is also very important for next year's presidential election as well. So, in congressional primaries. So if you're interested in becoming a member of the Democratic, Republican, Working Families, or Conservative parties, now is the time to change. So how can you do so? Well, first thing you can do is go to onvote.net. On the voter registration tab, we will have links there to the DMV lookup. You would have to do that by Monday the 13th if you're doing it in DMV. In person, you can do by February 14th. You can print off a form and bring it down to the Board of Elections, or we have forms right there at 1000 Erie Boulevard West, or you can mail it in. But again, it has to be received by February 14th, not just postmarked. It's very important. It's kind of tricky. So it has to be received by that date. So you have to get it out in time for it to come to the Board of Elections. So make sure that if you're wanting to change your party, you do it early. If you go on DMV now, before Monday the 13th, you'll be fine. In person, February the 14th at the Board of Elections, or mail it. I would mail it out no later than Friday to allow for mail if you're inside Onondaga County, allowed for mail to come to us and be received by us. So that's the party change deadline for the primaries, but you also have to change your party if you want to walk petitions for a candidate that you support. So inside the city of Syracuse, we expect lots of primaries, especially in the Democratic Party. There could be a few primaries in the Republican Party throughout the county, but if you are supporting a candidate and want to walk petitions, then you have to be a member of that party, and to do so, you have to change by February 14th. So starting February 28th, we will be starting to walk designating petitions. And if you're not unsure what that is, tune in next week. In place of my Thursday Zoom with Zarni, I'll be doing my first Zarni seminar where I'll be talking about getting on the ballot in 2023 and how you can get on the ballot. So if you want to participate in caucuses, if you want to participate in petitions, if you want to participate in any of that, in helping people get on the ballot, then you need to be in the right party. And so you need to change that by next Tuesday, February 14th. And again, it has to be received by the board. So if you're doing it online with the DMV, February 13th, Monday, February 13th by midnight, or in person, February 14th, or if you're doing it by mail, I would really not do it by this February 11th, which is Friday. So I would get that in. And so that's what I wanted to talk about with Commissioner in the Car today, is that party change. That's the big thing on the horizon. But there are several other things going on. We're in the middle of this major registration change, and we are really honing in on the last steps of this. And we expect that by February 15th, we will have enrollment reports and redistricted for the new Common Council maps inside the city of Syracuse and the new county ledge maps that were passed by the county legislature last year. So you're probably wondering why we waited so long to do that. And that's because if an election had popped up last year before August, we had to run on the old maps. And that actually happened. Jimmy Monto in the 5th District Council took the place of Joe Driscoll. And so we had to run an election on the old lines last year because the new lines were in effect until this year. So we, in August, had already decided that we were going through an RFP process for a voter registration system. We couldn't change the lines until after the election anyways, because you can't run elections on two different sets of lines. You can't change them in the middle. So we were going to do it after the November election, but as you may remember, the November election lasted for quite some time as we were in that hangout, and we weren't done until December 21st. So we have been full steam with our new registration vendor, NextVote, which is a part of HART. They're taking the place of NTS in Onondaga County, who's been our registration vendor for 12 years. We're really excited about what this registration vendor is going to bring to us. And I'll have more on that later this month once everything is all set and done. I may even do some videos inside my office to kind of show you what the differences are. But we're working out the kinks. So we're actually training right now, and people are starting to register voters in a demo environment to make sure that it's all working right. And later this week, we are going to do the last step, which is our data has already been migrated. It's already been checked by the State Board of Elections. It's been through its paces, and we're really excited that almost everything has gone absolutely by plan. And the vendor has worked very hard. They have people in our office that are working 10, 12-hour days to get this done for us. This is a big change, and we're the biggest county with them in New York, and we really believe that we are going to totally, be able to help voters in Onondaga County in a better way, and also help our vendor, serve the other counties in New York. I think over a dozen counties in New York has gone with this vendor now, and it's going to be an interesting transition. So we're really excited about that. So that's coming up next week. Late next week, we might have some party change stuff or all of that. But so on February 21st, once all this is done, we're going to be hopefully as caught up as possible. But on February 21st is when we release signature requirements for the designating petitions for Onondaga County. So that'll be February 21st, and then, or shortly thereafter. That's when we have to determine the numbers. And then a lot of people are wondering about contribution requirements. Well, that doesn't come till April. So we are in the thick of it now. We are not in, everybody's like, you can rest now. There's no rest for the Onondaga County Board of Elections. But we are continuing to do this. David asked in the chat, will there be any polling place changes this year? You're absolutely right. There will be. There is every year. But there is going to be a lot of polling place changes this year as we get ready for the presidential election. And I'll do more on that in March when those polling place changes are announced. So I'm not going to get ahead of myself right now. But we are looking for polling places all over the county to try to figure out places where we had long lines last year and alleviate that by adding polling places or moving people around to get ready for the big election in 2024, where we have 3 elections and some of the highest turnout elections that we have. So if there is a polling place change, it happens one of 3 reasons. First is that the polling place doesn't want us anymore, and we have no ability to stay there. Government buildings, school buildings, they can't kick us out. But private things like churches or other buildings, they can kick us out and do often. So, or they close. The second thing is that we determine that the polling place is no longer adequate for the boards of elections, because either the room is too small or there's technological issues, or and the third one, the one that's probably going to be the most important, is because we decide that we're trying to move people around to alleviate lines for next year, the big presidential election. So that's happening. Registration changes are happening. And then today, the Onondaga County Legislature passed our capital project, which means that we will start looking into bringing in new precinct scanners. Those are the scanners that accept your ballots at the polling places by the November election. Again, trying to do everything this year to be ready for next year. So we're busier than heck, but it's a good kind of busy. So that's all I got for Commissioner in a Car today. On Thursday, I'll have a Zoom with Zarni with Danielle Brecker of Empire Indivisible. She was on with us last year. It's she's a New York City Indivisible actor, but it's one of the largest Indivisibles in the state, and they do a lot of statewide work. I'll be doing some Zoom with Zarni's later this year with some local Indivisible chapters that are organizing for the congressional election. And then I have my weekly wonk is up. I did the city of Syracuse this last year, and I'll be doing registration forms. The registration forms, I did city of Syracuse last weekend. It's up on my website. And then I'll be doing the number of registration forms that we processed in 2022. There's going to be some surprising data in there, but you'll have to wait for this weekend to see it. So check that out. And all of my content on DustinZarni.com. Remember, you can subscribe for free and get an email anytime I post something. And I post election news, I post content, I post a lot of different things on there. It'll always be free. I never take ads for it. It's done and paid for solely by me and administered solely by me as a way for me to do my voter outreach and collect that all in one place. So you can go to DustinZarni.com for all of that. Thank you very much for joining me with Commissioner Carr. Okay. One last question, David, and then we're done. What will happen to all the people who were enrolled in the Independence Party? Will they become blanks? They won't become blanks. Blanks is a term for non-enrolled voters. But as you know, the Independence Party was decertified 4 years ago now at the last presidential election, and then, of course, the governor's election. They did not get 50,000 votes to stay on the ballot. So the Independence Party is also, they can no longer be an independence. It cannot be a name of a recognized political party. However, they will go in the other, and in fact, they already are in the other/IND category. But they're already in that category. At some point, they will just be other because the party has done, is already done and has not been constituted and cannot be constituted until 4 years from now. So that party will eventually be just, and it's already been, we already kind of wrap it into the other category. So that's where they'll stay unless they change their party by February 14th, which they can. So if you're enrolled in the Independence Party because you thought it was non-enrolled, now's the time to de-enroll and go into the non-enrolled, or choose the party of your choice and be able to participate in primaries. So finally, then Judith has a question, and then I'm going to end it. So Judith asked, what did I think of the summit? This weekend I participated in the New York 24 Congressional Summit, and it's called NIT, or it's actually New York 22 now. It's called NIT the 22. It was out in Madison County, in Casanova, Madison County. Now, there's some criticism online from the usual carpers that like to just criticize anything. There will be other summits. It's just the first summit. That's the one that happened in Casanova. There will be others in Onondaga. There will be others in Oneida. These are planned. This was the first event. There will be more. And I thought it was a great summit. And so I'm hopeful that I will be partnering and helping to bring a summit here to Onondaga County at some point, because I think it's a great idea. I think it's something that people will very much appreciate. So that's it. Now I got to go. I got groceries in the back of my car. Got to get home. So thank you very much for tuning in to Commissioner in the Car. Go to DustinZarni.com to subscribe for all content updates, and change your party by February 14th if you want to. And if you're not sure whether you're enrolled in a party, go to our website onvote.net. You can check your own registration, see what party you're in, and get a voter change form in. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.